This story is titled, My Mother Tried to Ruin My Marriage by Texting My Ex Behind My Back. So my husband stopped paying for her medical bills. My mom kept calling my husband by my ex's name during our anniversary dinner. Then I found out she'd been secretly texting him for months, trying to wreck our marriage. Now he's cut her off from the monthly medical support he was paying. I'm 30, and I've been married to my husband John, 32, for 3 years now. Before John, I was in a long-term relationship with my ex, Mike, who's 33. Mike cheated on me, which is why I broke things off with him about 4 years ago. But my mom, she never really got over Mike. She absolutely adored him, and when I ended things, she was devastated. She even tried talking me out of leaving him, despite knowing what he'd done. Ever since, she's had a hard time accepting John as my husband, even though John has been nothing but respectful and incredibly generous to her. For some background, my mom's in her mid-60s and has some chronic health issues. About a year and a half ago, she was diagnosed with a condition that requires expensive treatments and medications. She's on a fixed income, and paying for her care has been a real struggle. John, being the kind and giving man he is, stepped up without hesitation. He offered to cover a big chunk of her medical bills. Since early last year, he's been paying around $2,000 a month toward her treatments. That support has been a lifeline for my mom. Without it, I honestly don't know how she would have managed. John never complained about helping her, either. He always said it felt like the right thing to do, supporting my family because they're now his family, too. Fast forward to last week. John and I were celebrating our 3rd wedding anniversary. We'd planned a nice dinner at a restaurant, just the two of us. But my mom, who lives alone and doesn't get out much because of her health, had been dropping hints about wanting to celebrate with us. I felt a little guilty, so I suggested we invite her. John was okay with it, even though it was an unusual choice for an anniversary. We also invited my younger brother, 28, and his girlfriend, but they couldn't make it. So it ended up being just the 3 of us. At first, dinner started off fine. But then my mom accidentally called John by my ex's name, Mike. The first time, John politely corrected her. "It's John, not Mike," he said. I shot her a look, but she just chuckled nervously and said, "Oh, you know me. I'm so forgetful." I was annoyed, but I let it slide. A few minutes later, she did it again. She looked straight at John and said, "Mike, could you pass the bread?" This time I jumped in. "Mom, his name is John." She brushed it off with a casual, "Oh right, John. Sorry, sweetie. Just a slip of the tongue." I could see John stiffen. He was trying to stay polite, but I could tell he was upset. And then, like she was testing us, she did it a 3rd time. When the waiter asked if we wanted dessert, my mom turned to John and said, "Mike, do you think we should get the tiramisu to share?" That was it. John pushed his chair back and said calmly, "I think I've lost my appetite. I'll wait for you in the car." Then he stood up and walked out. I sat there stunned for a second. Then I turned to my mom and said, "His name is John. Why do you keep calling him Mike?" She sighed like I was the problem. "Well, Mike was practically like a son to me. You know, I still think of him that way. No offense, but John reminds me of him." I could feel the heat rising in my face. I told her flat out, "What you just said was hurtful and completely out of line. We're leaving." She tried to protest. "I didn't mean it like that. You're overreacting." But I wasn't having it. I paid the bill, cut her off mid-sentence with, "We'll talk later," and left. On the drive home, John was quiet. I apologized over and over for my mom's behavior. Finally, he spoke. "I'm not angry at you, but I'm done with this. I refuse to be disrespected like that." Then he dropped the bombshell. "I'm not paying for her medical bills anymore. If she thinks Mike is so wonderful, she can ask him for help. I'm done." And you know what? I didn't argue. I completely understood where he was coming from. The truth is, my mom's treatment is expensive, and she depends on that $2,000 a month. Without it, she's going to struggle. Part of me feels guilty knowing this will have serious consequences for her health. But at the same time, she brought this on herself. John has been unbelievably kind to her, going above and beyond what any son-in-law should have to, and she couldn't even show him the basic respect of calling him by his name during a dinner that was meant to celebrate us. As of now, John has already stopped the automatic payments to her medical bills. He's serious about this. I haven't told my mom yet that the money's been cut off. She's going to find out soon enough when the next bill is due in a week or so. I'm dreading that phone call. Knowing her, she's going to call me screaming, accuse me of choosing John over her, or say I'm ungrateful. We haven't spoken since that disaster of a dinner, except for a short text exchange where I told her how hurtful her behavior was. She responded with, "I was just joking. You two are so sensitive nowadays." It didn't feel like an apology at all. Now I'm stuck between anger and guilt. I fully support my husband's decision to cut her off. I believe respect goes both ways, but I also know this will hurt her financially. So here's my question. Am I the asshole for backing my husband and cutting off the money we've been sending my mom for her medical bills after she disrespected him like that? She doesn't respect you. Or your marriage. You're right. I still can't fully wrap my head around it. My mom has always been weirdly attached to my ex, but I never imagined she'd take it this far. It's bonkers. Mike cheated on me and, in case she forgot, he's married to someone else now. There's literally no universe where he and I would ever get back together. My husband even pointed out the other day that it feels like my mom has built this fantasy world in her head where Mike's the golden boy who can do no wrong. And maybe he's right. Right now, I haven't gone fully no contact with her, but I'm definitely not speaking to her. I need space to cool down and figure out what boundaries I'm going to set. Because as it stands, my trust in her is completely shattered. My younger brother knows about everything now too. He was shocked when I told him and admitted he always suspected Mom never got over Mike, but he had no idea she was actively stirring up all this chaos behind the scenes. At least I've got his support. That means a lot right now. Moving forward, I'm thinking some serious low contact, or maybe even no contact, is the only way to go. I just can't picture myself interacting with her like normal after this. I really wish I didn't have more drama to share. But here we are. It's been 2 weeks since that awful anniversary dinner and about a week since my last update. After finding those texts and confronting my mom over the phone, I needed some time. Time to calm down, and also to gather more information, because as it turns out, there was even more going on than I realized. Remember how I suspected my mom was still hanging out with my ex's family? Well, that's been confirmed. A family friend casually mentioned seeing my mom at my ex's sister's baby shower recently. So yeah, my mother has been regularly attending events with Mike's family behind my back. That was the final straw. I decided to confront her face to face. I asked my younger brother to come with me, not just for moral support, but also as a witness in case things got heated. When we showed up at her house a few days ago, she looked nervous, like she knew why we were there. I didn't waste any time. "Mom, we need to talk." I started laying it all out. I told her I knew she'd been meeting up with Mike's family. I knew she'd been bad-mouthing John and trying to sabotage my marriage. At first, she tried to brush it off. "Oh, you're making too much of this. They invited me as a friend, that's all." She claimed she only sees them occasionally and acted like it wasn't a big deal. But I didn't let it slide. Do you even hear yourself? It's hurtful and completely inappropriate that you'd rather spend time with the family of the man who cheated on me than respect the man I actually married. And then I asked her the question that had been burning in my mind. "Are you trying to break up my marriage so I'll go back to Mike? Because that's what it feels like you're doing." She gaslit me at first. "You're crazy for even thinking that. Of course I want you to be happy." But I kept pressing. I brought up the comments she made at our anniversary dinner. The text she sent John. The fact that she's cozying up to my ex's family. My brother backed me up, saying, "Mom, it's obvious you've never let go of Mike. But this is too far." That's when she finally snapped. "Fine. You want the truth? I don't think John is right for you. You never should have left Mike. You two belong together and everyone could see it but you." Even though I'd suspected she felt this way, hearing her say it out loud was like a punch to the gut. She went on a full-blown rant about how my marriage never felt right to her, how I'd thrown Mike away over one mistake, and how I'd regret marrying John someday. She wasn't just defending Mike, she was idolizing him. And then came the kicker. She admitted she's been keeping the door open with Mike in case I came to my senses. I was stunned, absolutely speechless. "You've got to be kidding me," I finally said. "Mike cheated on me. He's married to someone else now. I have no interest in him, and I haven't for years. I'm happily married to John. Why can't you accept that?" My brother asked her point blank, "What exactly were you hoping would happen?" That's when Mom let slip something that made my blood run cold. She said she told Mike's wife that I'm still in love with him, and that marrying John was a mistake. I lost it. "For the record," I said, my voice shaking with rage, "I don't have any feelings for Mike." "And you went behind my back and told his wife that? Are you out of your mind?" That wasn't just crossing a line, that was nuking it. She tried to defend herself. "I only said those things because I love you. I want what's best for you. You're being ungrateful and letting John brainwash you." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. The only person who seems brainwashed here is you. I shot back. You've built up this fake image of Mike in your head that has nothing to do with reality. By now, she was crying and yelling. You're choosing a man over your own mother. How could you abandon me like this, especially when I'm sick? It turned into a screaming match until finally, I went cold. Enough, I said. You either accept that I'm not getting back with Mike and stop this insanity, or you won't be in my life at all. When I told her those were her choices, my mom actually scoffed and said, You don't mean that. I'm your mother. I looked her straight in the eye and said, I absolutely mean it. I told her she owed everyone involved a massive apology, my husband for the way she disrespected him, me for interfering in my life, and even my ex and his wife for the outright lies she spread. She didn't respond. She just went quiet, staring down at her hands and shaking her head like we were the ones in the wrong. At that point, my brother and I stood up. It was clear we weren't going to get through to her, not then, maybe not ever. We left her house completely drained, both of us emotionally wrecked from the confrontation. Since then, I haven't reached out to her. Neither has my brother, as far as I know. A few days later, she sent me a text. It wasn't an apology or even an attempt to make things right. It was one of those classic guilt-tripping messages. I can't believe how you spoke to your poor mother. I hope you're happy. I haven't been able to sleep or eat since you yelled at me. I didn't respond. I didn't even know what to say at that point. Right now, I'm leaning heavily toward cutting her off completely, at least for a while. She's shown no remorse, no self-awareness, and certainly no intention of stopping. My husband is hurt, but he's been supportive of whatever I decide. He keeps saying he's less worried about her and more worried about how all this has been weighing on me. My brother and I also looped in our sister, who lives out of state. She's equally appalled by our mom's behavior and said she suspected for a long time that mom never got over my ex. At least the three of us are united on this. We all agree mom has crossed too many lines. We talked about doing one last family intervention, all of us sitting down with her together to set firm boundaries and give her one final chance. But honestly, after the last blow-up, I don't know if she's even capable of listening. I feel like she's so far gone in her fantasy that she doesn't even see the damage she's caused. And the truth is, I still love my mom, or maybe I love the version of her I thought I had. But right now, I don't trust her. And it's hard to feel empathy for someone who's willing to hurt so many people just to chase a dream that isn't real. This will probably be my last update, because, well, we finally reached some kind of resolution. A couple of weeks ago, my ex's wife reached out to me. She'd gotten my number from someone and sent me screenshots of texts my mom had been sending her. And let me tell you, those messages were horrifying. My mom was telling her that I was unhappy in my marriage, that I still loved my ex, and that marrying John was a mistake. All of it was complete garbage, of course, but seeing it written out like that made my stomach turn. I immediately called my ex's wife to apologize for my mother's behavior. She was kind and understanding, and thankfully, she said she'd already suspected those claims weren't true. Still, she admitted my mom's meddling had made her uncomfortable. I reassured her that I have zero feelings for my ex and absolutely no interest in ever disrupting their life together. By the end of the call, she thanked me for reaching out and said she appreciated my honesty. Then, a few days later, my ex himself texted me. He apologized for not shutting my mom down sooner. He said he thought he was just helping a lonely, sick woman by letting her attend his family events, but now he realizes she took it as encouragement. He admitted that she had also been pestering him directly, trying to rope him into her delusions. He promised me he's blocked her number and made it clear to her that she's no longer welcome in his or his family's life. It was a weirdly bittersweet conversation, but it gave me some closure. Now for the final confrontation with my mom. My siblings and I went through with the family intervention. We sat her down, face to face, and calmly laid out our boundaries. We told her, point blank, asterisk, she must cut off all contact with my ex and his family. Asterisk, she has to stop bad-mouthing my husband and our marriage. Asterisk, and she needs to recognize how deeply hurtful her behavior has been and apologize to everyone involved. We explained that if she refused, we would have no choice but to step back entirely. No more emotional support. No more financial help. Nothing. Her response? She blew up. She yelled that we were ganging up on her and said, "You can't tell me who I can talk to. I'm your mother. I know what's best for you." When we calmly repeated our terms, she doubled down, saying she wouldn't apologize because she was just trying to save me from a mistake. That told us everything we needed to know. We stood up, told her we were going no contact, and walked out as she screamed that we were cruel and ungrateful. As of now, my husband, my siblings, and I are officially no contact with her. We sent her an email explaining our decision, so there's no confusion. We even included information about local support programs for her medical needs since we won't be covering her expenses anymore. It's heartbreaking, but the stress and toxicity she was bringing into our lives was too much. My husband fully supports this decision. He told me he hopes my mom can get help someday, but he wants no part of her drama until she does. And honestly, I feel the same. For the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe again. Right now, I'm focusing on my marriage, my siblings, and the people who truly care about me. It's been a painful road, but I'm choosing peace. If my mom ever gets serious help and shows true remorse, maybe there's a path forward. But until then, the door is closed.